it's about wrapping up the end of the second section. Let's have something a bit more lighthearted than we would usually have in the middle of the show to start off with, since this is kind of its own little video now. So, what else did we have to go over?
Wasn't it Maxine Ghislaine?
Really, I say lighthearted and wholesome, and you go immediately for the pedo hunter fucking in chief, Mossad connected child rapist.
Society. How about that? The pennies. The attack on the pennies.
Can we move away from the elites trying to rape us and our children to death just for 20 minutes?
How about the fact that there's going to be a Crash Bandicoot 4?
Right, that I can fuck with. Crash Bandicoot 4? What do you mean?
Yes, they're gonna continue it from the third one, which was on PS1. So on PS5,
it was long
Crash
ago.
Bandicoot 4 is gonna come out.
Neither. A fun fact about Crash Bandicoot that you might not be aware of. In fact, I don't think Pepe know this either. But when the PlayStation engineers they got their test copies of Crash Bandicoot, and they were like looking at the data coming out of the game as they were playing it. And then they like did a double take, like, oh, because it should not have been able to play Crash Bandicoot. They said the PlayStation hardware, it's not good enough to play this game. And they went, yeah, we know, like we had to kind of like wrangle it into place. And so that's what they did, all sorts of tricks. Like, you notice how in Crash Bandicoot you only ever move forward? That's because the backs of things don't have textures. If you were to move backwards through a Crash Bandicoot world, it would be full of holes. And also, like literally, you'd be able to see through everything, right? Also, there's only ever a certain amount of polygons on a screen at once. So you might notice that when you've killed an enemy, then you move around the corner and there's another enemy. The reason that that corner was even there was to obscure the enemy from you so that you could not see it while the other enemy was still on screen, thus preserving polygons. There's a lot of clever stuff that goes into it.
Crash Bandicoot 3, I was playing it and I realized, because I have it on my phone, like the emulator, I realized how beautiful that game is, like how much detail it is.
Like, for the time as well. It was like, what, 96?
It felt like playing Dark Souls. Like when I was, you know, like when you play Bash Bandicoot through
yeah, I know Bash Bandicoot
3. You know how there's the first level that's like a medieval level?
Yeah.
And you're just going through and there's like the frog that kisses you and it turns into a prince. Or like the guy with the sword that's like hauling it and he spins around.
Yeah.
I noticed like when you go on the water, you can see Crash's reflection on it. When you look,
oh no, that third game was incredible.
Castle, you see
time.
the castle from far away and it looks like you're in the world. Like it had really good immersion to it and good detail. The animations for it, for like a game back in that time, like it still looks good now. You know, like if you were playing like on a DS or something, you know, it has that cartoon feel. Another game that's noticing that had really good visuals, Mega Man Legends.
I really like that whole retro pixelization feel of the 16-bit era of like SNES, that kind, because that was just before the 3D era, so I feel like that's where they perfected it. They get it up to a really good level and then went, right, we're done.
The facial animations, like it looked alive, like when you do like the face and stuff. So that was one thing that like I was like, oh, this is so cool. Also felt open world too. You know, like I had to go through like different zones, but it felt open. Like you could go into like a lot of different places. Like it had a really good RPG feel for its time.
I'm gonna quickly grab a drink. I didn't realize I didn't have a drink, and that whole technical difficulty stressed me out, so I need to relax a bit.
Keep hydrated, my brother.
That's right. Need
Spicy
more,
tits.
way more water. But yeah.
Wait,
while I'm...
wait, do you say spicy tits?
No, stop it.
Tits,
no.
tits.
Pepe, why would you think she said such a thing? No.
Spicy tits.
No.
Spicy.
Anyway, so I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Can you
Pepe,
imagine? Can you imagine being able to breastfeed whiskey? Like,
what?
No.
She's Southeast Asian. She's not Irish.
No, I'm not. Anyways, I mean, I've always thought, like, what if, like, you know, I had a kid and I'm done breastfeeding them and I have some remnants? What if I drank alcohol? Could I turn it into a white Russian from a human body?
That is a question that I am not going to stick around for the answer to. I'm going to be
I
right
mean,
back.
White Russian. If it comes to weed, White Russian is basically White Widow with AK-47. That's basically what White Widow is. I mean, White Russian.
I did not know that. I never made that comparison. Well, Sonny, have you had your drink yet?
No, I haven't even got to my door yet. Anyway, what's your favorite video game?
My favorite video game is going to be God of War. I love the lore. I love the art style. I love the weapons. I love how the women are depicted. I love how the men are depicted, because it's not like so one thing that I've noticed, like, playing video game, like, from seeing my friends, family, and brothers and sisters playing video games, well, brothers, I don't have sisters, is that women usually have extremely scanty, like, armor around, like, their chest, and then, like, a neck piece, and then, like, a bottom piece, and that's it. But I saw in God of War that the women actually had scanty but protective armor, but so did the guys. Like, you got a nice show of the guys too. Like, it did not discriminate guys and girls. Like, girls got some eye candy, or whichever way you want to go, and guys got some eye candy too. So I appreciate that. Plus, like, I like the voices. I like Kratos' voice in the game.
I am Kratos.
Yeah.
I will kill Zeus.
Now, another thing is, I think it was it God of War 2 or 3 where he has a son?
Actually, that is the 4th entry, and it's just named God of War.
There you go. Yeah, that one was really good, because the God of War, when you actually read lore or whatever it is, whether you see it on TV or a show, he's depicted as someone that is less human. But in the game itself, it showed that he actually loved a woman, and that, you know, he had a son before. And all of that happened. He reformed his ways, and he fell in love with another woman and had another son. It's really refreshing to see positive masculinity in that game, to be completely
He's not
honest.
the same Kratos, because,
No.
like, if you've played all the entries, he's this bloodthirsty, like,
Yes.
He's literally tormented.
Yeah, he's tormented by his actions as well. You know?
Because the thing is, he also left his family back home, and they end up getting slaughtered. And then it's sort of like those demons, like, he has to keep that path of vengeance in order to sort of shut those things in his head. Like, he
couldn't live with who he was before.
And
he saw how that's haunting him in his present day, when he's actually trying to be different.
And it's also the fact that he killed a lot of, like, innocent people too. Like, when he, like, killed certain, like, gods, like, it caused a lot of chaos. And also the fact that whoever stood in his way, like, he didn't hesitate in taking them out.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, I really, really appreciate, like, the depth of character that they put in him.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about God of War, and we're talking about
Ooh.
Kratos' voice.
Yeah, very good game.
It had I personally didn't play the 4th one that came out, but I always watched my husband play it.
Hey,
And
Nida,
I
do you know
actually-
why his skin is white?
Yes, I do know, actually.
It's the most
Dash.
metal reason. It's the ashes of his murdered child and wife.
Basically. But I think that adds up to his character. Now,
Of course,
I
no,
only
it's
played the
great.
first one
It's very ancient Greek, isn't it? Like that brutality involved. Like, and I curse you and 10,000 years.
No, I
Yeah,
also
go on.
liked how another part of the game that I really liked was how he had to carry that one head around. I forgot the name of that head. It was
Mimir.
Mimir, yeah. I really liked how
Because
he carried Mimir.
the cool thing about it is that it brings Nordic mythology, so it's sort of like this god.
Who
You know-
Mimir was, who he was to what's his name, Odin, and all of that.
Pepe,
Also,
my favorite part about God of War is, do you remember the guy that he didn't do Kratos wrong, but Kratos keeps fucking with him? Like,
Yes, I remember.
no, you know who I'm talking about, right? Like, he's trying to climb out of hell, and he was like, "Get out of my sight, you wretched leech!" He's like, "No, I just want to survive."
Shunsung, what's the name of that character in God of War where this guy didn't do Kratos any wrong, but Kratos just keeps dogging on
He
him.
kept. He
was it like a
kicked-
soldier? Was it like the Spartan soldier? That,
Yeah, it was like a. Yeah, it
he
was
had-
just like this
Spartan
normal.
soldier?
Yeah, it was like this normal soldier dude. He was an old guy, and he just got kicked down to hell as he was trying
Baldur?
to climb out.
Was it Baldur?
I don't know, but anyway,
no,
that was funny.
Baldur's one of the gods.
No.
He's one of the gods,
No. This is a minor character. It's just like a mortal who's just caught up in it all. And he has like the worst run of it because he gets
Talking
kicked.
about hell.
He gets kicked into hell, and then during like one of the next games, he's trying to climb out of hell, and he's almost made it. And then he's trying to like climb onto Kratos to get him up. He's like, "Please, sir, please help!" And he's like, "Get off of me, wretched mortal!" And like boots him in the face until he gets off and falls back down to hell. It's like, why, Kratos? Why? I know you want to. Because he was
talking
not
about hell,
the
do you
immortal
remember-
blood.
Do you remember Dante's Inferno?
Who could forget?
Like how horribly underrated that game was, and like how it had the God of War elements, but like the story of it was like him seeing his own sins. And like they also have like an animated movie of it. And the beauty of that movie is that they put different like animation styles, but like, yo, Dante's Inferno, when you get to the lust part, like, yo, the monsters there were like,
Oh, you're making me want to put on the club music from Devil May Cry. I think I've put it on before for you. It's a noisier track, Lilith's Club, and it's just such a like you can feel like the Vice vibes coming off of it. You know, like the drive-in bass line and everything else. It's video game music is evolving along with, you know, sort of the narratives and the storylines and everything else. I mean, we could go into what CD Projekt Red has been doing recently. Like, should we start with Cyberpunk or end with Cyberpunk? There's
I
just
was
so
going
much
to talk
to talk
about one of my favorite games, which I guess would probably be between either Silent Hill, Silent Hill 1,
How
fucking
pissed,
Cat in the
how pissed were you at the fucking playtest getting nuked? How do you feel about that?
OPT.
Yeah. Were you
The
looking
playable
forward to
teaser.
that? Yeah.
I'm pissed off the fact that any type of way to replicate it, because there's been guys that were able to replicate it in Unreal Engine as well as Unity. That shit got cut off quickly. And
Oh,
it's
what you
impossible
mean
to
legally? Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, there's not so much to it that it couldn't be replicated. Then, yeah, if legal teams get involved, I can see.
You know,
Do you remember what happened
game-
with OpenIV with GTA 4?
GTA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awful. I think it
Wait,
was.
no, there's another one. There's another one, y'all. It was
Yeah.
the game where they had the baby.
Death
Death
Stranding?
Stranding?
Yes. Apparently, that game did fucking terribly.
I didn't do
Because
as
a lot of people expected a certain thing, but it's because it was basically Walking